What's up, guys? This is Dave from the Disorderly. We're joined once again by my good buddy, Mr. Andrew Volpe.
Hey guys.
We're gonna talk about the fish man, the Aquaman, the man underneath the ocean.
The one, the only, not that other fish guy. You know.
Fish. I just want to call him Fishman, but
Yeah.
Aquaman is he's the least. I'm least familiar with.
Yeah.
The lore and the canon and the source material,
Yes,
probably than any of the other major Justice League characters.
and I think that's most of the world.
Yeah, I just to get right into it, James Wan, they've had a couple years to figure this out. They had the whole Justice League debacle, and they've had to kind of course correct. They've had to kind of shift some things around, and I always kind of liked how they decided to kind of go with Aquaman. He reminds me more of kind of the early 2000s Justice League kind of more badass version of Aquaman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Bearded one instead of the Super Friends one, right?
Right, exactly.
The hook hand one.
Exactly. That's the move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going out and getting a Neanderthal, and I say that in the nicest way possible.
Right,
right. You go get a cave person to play this gentleman.
Yeah.
I've liked Momoa and how he's kind of chosen to do it. It seems almost as if he's playing an exaggerated version of himself.
Yeah.
With all the vlogs and behind the scenes kind of stuff I've seen of him just hucking axes and slamming pints, I'm like, where does Jason Momoa end and Zack Snyder's vision of Aquaman begin? You know what I mean?
They are one and the same. Well, so my question is, I am, as you know, I'm like the only person on the planet that hasn't actually watched Game of Thrones, but did he... Before Game of Thrones, was he that character? Did he even have, like, long facial hair? Because the only thing I know of him is Game of Thrones, and then before that, like, 15 years before, he was on Baywatch, and, like, was clean-shaven, and, like, so I was like, what did he do in between? Has he always been this, like, Viking archetype, or what? You know what I mean?
So he did the Conan the Barbarian remake.
Oh, really? When was that? Like, in the 90s?
No. That was. Was
that recent?
Well, I'm not going to Google it, but it was semi-recent, but long enough ago to forget about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't even remember hearing about that one. Or
don't quote me on it, but it happened anywhere from 2009 to 2015.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you... That's what is that, 6 years? I feel pretty comfortable it happened somewhere. It fell somewhere in there.
Did it fall into that, like, Ben-Hur, Pompeii? Like, I don't understand why big studios keep on thinking they're going to remake one of these old, like, Bible-era epics or something like that and think that they'll actually make money. Or, Conan, I know, is not Bible, but, like, these old, like, warrior kind of things. Like, I feel like so many of them just totally flop. And,
Momoa wasn't as big a star back then. He could probably do it now.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's off track.
We're going on Jags here already. You know what I mean? We're talking Conan. We're talking for the love of Crom. You know what I mean?
Let's take it back to the ocean. We need to.
Let's get serious. Let's get back to Fishman. You know what I mean? And goddamn drumming octopuses and stuff.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started.
Well, I was kind of like, oh Jesus Christ! But apparently that was a real
thing in the comic
character. Yeah. Topo.
Oh, sure. I mean, like, it makes sense. Like, I think that's the whole thing with the movie is, probably the hardest. This was a very calculated risk from WB. I'm glad that they spent a whole year trying to get it right. And like the whole time I was watching the movie, and like there's such good visual effects, and a lot of the actors are acting their asses off. But I just kept on like the movie almost gave me an existential crisis because I was like, people are trying so hard to make you know that Aquaman is cool, and it's like they have to jump through so many hoops to, like, I kept on, like, the effects are great and the actors are great, but I kept on just, like, looking at what was going on screen and just picturing actors, like, cracking up as they're having to say all this, like, ridiculous dialogue and everything like that. Like, you know, it's a pretty good, it's a very well executed, but still ridiculous kind of, you know, sort of Lord of the Rings-y. It has a lot of, like Lion King and everything like that. There's, like, a bunch of, like, okay, let's go through these, like, stories that everyone knows that they'll like and try to make it sound really important, where it felt like, I also felt like James Wan kind of knew how ridiculous it was and was kind of, like, winking at the audience sometimes, like, yes, I know this is fucking ridiculous, we're gonna have an octopus drumming and, like, you know, fucking people riding seahorses and everything like that. So, but I also felt at times that it was trying, like, you know, when it was trying to be funny, it was trying to really let you know it was trying to be funny. Like, the thing that really got me was the witty banter scenes between Amber Heard and Momoa, and
they're tough.
Amber Heard was trying really. I like Amber Heard. It doesn't hurt that she's, like, really easy on the eyes, but it was something about the, like, when they started going on their little, like, we're gonna trek across the globe, and, you know, kind of have we got sexual tension, but we're bickering all the time and everything like that. And then, like, something about the music cues were so on the nose.
I was gonna wait for you to say the needle drops in this are.
Well, it's not just the.
You should have seen my face when you know, and it's like, go ahead. What's the worst one for you?
God, there's a
keep in mind to our friends out there listening, music is probably not your strong suit, I would say. No?
It's not my, like, forte.
Yeah, popular music. Like, you would, I could play 10 songs on Top 40 and you'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's, like, one of those things where, like, if it's done well, like, I don't even really notice it that much or whatever, but when it's a little weird or out of place, that's when it, like, really stands out. But yeah, the montages for sure, like, there was, like, some, like, random bits of 80s music throughout, and even in the score, I felt like there's, like, so many moments where, like, you know, there's many moments, but I think a good one's when, like, what's his name, Patrick Wilson's like, and so I will become the Ocean Master, and they even did the actual, like, dun 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 and all that stuff, and
which is the worst title of.
Yeah, I kept on, like, the whole movie, there was so many times in the movie where it's, like, people saying the most ridiculous shit with a straight face, and I just kept on, like, cracking up because everyone was doing a really good job, but it's like, it made me feel like the fact that this is now, like, a serious tentpole movie, it's almost like Trump being president. It's like satire has become reality, and my brain was having trouble, like, fathoming it, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And before we move on, I just want to say, when they open up on the desert scene, and it's Pitbull's cover of Africa by Toto.
Yeah. Was that not too on the nose for you? I felt like that was really subtle.
My brain came to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
And I was just taken to a place somewhere between a Hallmark store and like a mall food court of just shame and fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of just what are we doing?
Yeah.
You put Pitbull in, like, is he a WB artist or something, like WB? Like, how did this happen?
I'm sure. Well,
how is the synergy must the synergy reign supreme overall?
Well, this movie was trying to, like, I felt like it, like, I was watching it and, like, kind of seeing a little bit of a checklist of, like, we gotta have a little bit of this, have a little bit of this. Okay, got the witty banner. Okay, got a few pop songs in there. Oh, we made sure to insert some humorous montages to show you that we're different or whatever. Okay, we got the little bit of a horror scene, like, you know. I felt like since they were, like...
Yeah, it was goddamn all over the place.
They must have gotten a lot of studio notes. And granted, they were probably better notes than they've been getting because the movie wasn't a total train wreck or anything. In fact, it's a small miracle that they're able to pull it off in a way that it's, like, still... You know, like, it's a dumb popcorn movie, but it's still fun. I definitely got many qualms with it, but like I think that's more what they were going for, or have been trying to go for a while now. But I don't know. It might be also just because I'm not as familiar with Aquaman, and there's something innately funny about if this is all the same sort of stuff we've seen, but we have it in fish form or something. Like just seeing all the ways that they could like aquify, all the different elements. Like my favorite is Amber Heard's dress in the Coliseum scene that's made out of
jellyfish and all that stuff.
Like, same thing.
Very practical, right?
Yeah, I saw that, and I just, I kept on, bursting out laughing, not intentionally, but... And the thing is, it's, that's where I think James Wan knows how fucking ridiculous it is, so he's, I think that's the only way you could pull it off. It's, all this, I'm sure, is part of the mythology of the comic book, so they are just doing a straight adaptation. So if they're going to do it, you gotta, I guess, go whole hog and commit. Everyone's very committed. The art direction is great, and they're committed. The actors are, I guess, for the most part, pretty good. They got heavy hitters for it that can recite ridiculous lines of dialogue very well. But man, it's so it's just so over the top, and I feel like kind of generic at the same time. Everything's an excuse smartly for these really big set pieces, and I think that's the best part of the movie. Is there's a lot of good filmmaking on tap. James Wan is a very good action director for the most part, but as far as the plot went, there were so many times, I saw it at an Alamo, and there was numerous times where I was going to write the check or whatever, and I look up and something totally different happened. I remember I looked down for a second, and then when I looked back up, that's when Aquaman was suddenly riding a dragon monster all around. That was
oh my god.
Yeah, I was okay. Yeah. And so at a certain very early on, my brain turned off and was well, there's no point in finding gripes for this or really trying to analyze the plot at all because it's all bullshit.
No, other people are going to do it. So I'm just, we're just kind of, we're going all over the place with this thing. But yeah, when there was just so much that they had to cram in.
Yes.
7 different races of these people.
Yeah. And there's
so many. And you neglect the crab people.
The brine,
you know what I mean?
Or whatever.
Yeah. I was like, wait, who are they? Which of the 7 am I paying? It's Lannisters and then the Fisher people, because they a lot of the previews and all the images and all this stuff.
Are the Fisher people the trench ones? Or
No. So are you confused?
I am. I don't know what was going on for most of that movie.
You saw this film literally what, an hour ago?
Yes, and then immediately
and he doesn't remember. Yeah.
And
what I mean? So perhaps too many goddamn races.
Yeah.
Of these goddamn fish people. No, so it's unclear because the Dolph Lundgren house the Patrick Warden house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got the mighty human houses, right? And then you've got the Fisher people who are closer to.
Are they the ones with tails? They're kind of like mermaids or whatever.
Yeah, they're like a mer people,
right?
I was like, well, how are they going to move this along? Oh, they're just going to kill this guy in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
They dedicate 30 goddamn seconds to this entire race.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, we got a big meeting with these people. Calls him a pussy, basically, and then just tridents him right in the gut. Takes over his whole kingdom.
Yeah. Well, I kind of was looking at him these people look like their special effects, are a little bit more complicated than the others. There was
right.
And I was like, oh, okay, he got killed right away. There's many things that felt like they had to be done practically. The thing I kept on staring at. I'm glad you brought up Dolph Lundgren. For the most,
you don't like his luscious floating hair.
Oh my god, I don't understand. This movie was interesting because no one's ever had to do this before, trying to figure out action scenes that take place underwater and to try to figure out the logic of that. And I don't think even in the comics it ever totally added up because they never actually had to film it in a fluid way or whatever. And it doesn't make sense totally in the movie, but they try really hard. But the thing I kept on looking at was like how many people, how many thousands upon thousands of hours what amount of manpower do you think it took to animate all the different floating hairs for all the different actors?
It's just an algorithm, I'm sure, at this point.
Oh,
you know
dude,
what I mean? Because
I guarantee
remember this. Yeah, that they just kind of have to kind of plug in.
Are you sure it's not like a sweatshop of like
oh god
animators in Korea or something like that? Or
I sure hope not. Yeah. And that that may be why you saw some of them kind of pinned back. I don't know if that's canon or
like it definitely seemed like a lot of people were going for that. Like, I guess they have hair gel that works underwater or something like that.
Let me get that Willem Dafoe jam where you just tie it up and very interesting. You know what I mean? I just
so my question was like Dolph Lundgren felt like his hair was noticeably worse than everyone else's, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was because it was Dolph Lundgren or maybe like he looks so weird with red hair and the fake beard. Well,
they had to. We're so stupid. They have to go. This is a redheaded man, and that is his redheaded daughter.
Yes. And otherwise, it's super red. It's like it's not like a shade of red. It's like
dog dick red. Yes. It is rocket ship red. You know what I mean? It's ready to rock. Yeah. No, I just to talk about her a little bit. I didn't mind her. I just thought that they kind of like pick an identity and a character and stick to it. Yeah. In some scenes, she's kind of like a streetwise kind of, we got this back entrance, we got this, we got that, where she's kind of a little bit more with it, and then other scenes where she's kind of a clueless, kind of highborn royal chick.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where she's speaking like, out of, 18th century, you know what I mean?
They wanted her to be the Princess Leia archetype, but they couldn't decide on which installment of Star Wars.
Right. You want more Padme or you want more Leia? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
A little more Queen Amidala?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I may.
How worldly do we want this? Well, the other thing, too, is
she's eating goddamn flowers, so she wasn't super worldly.
Yeah, well, the other thing was, like, I know they knew each other in Justice League. I don't really remember their scene too well, but, like, why is it that she can walk on land, and how do they know each other? Like I kept on having, like, little plot questions pop up in my head as I was watching the movie, and then I'd almost immediately dismiss it as, like, fuck it, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, just as soon as your brain starts going in that direction. Yeah. But yeah, as someone who's, like, she just pops up, and she's trying to recruit him, obviously, she seems fairly clueless. So there's things that, and I think they purely kind of cheesed it up, try to harp on the romance a little bit more.
Yeah.
Where, it's a fish out of water, if I will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of look at this clueless chick. She doesn't even know what flowers are.
Right.
Even though that underwater, I'm sure there's
some sort of
vegetation and plants and shit, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's get down to it. Where were the crab people? Why weren't they more of a focal point?
Everyone is asking.
I mean, I was like, give me 90 minutes of crab people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love how badass they are, where they don't even feign a political, kind of
motivation.
Move on them. Yeah. We're not even going to attempt to meet with them.
Yeah.
We know the crab people won't stand for this bullshit, and we're just going to straight up move on them. You know what I mean? I loved it. The crab army is ready to rock. Straight out of like Gears of War or something.
Just
like hell, doom people.
I was kind of curious about because there's that scene where it's like the crab people versus what was it, sharks or alligators? I can't even remember
right,
this.
But because yeah.
But like the crab people look like the sharks seem like they can move really fast and in ocean logic kind of float or levitate, whereas the crab people seem for some reason to be stuck to the ocean floor. So crab people didn't like. If I was betting, I would bet on the shark people over the crab people. Call me crazy. So
have you ever fought a crab? No, but like can I just say this?
Yeah.
When they give us the montage of like a 90-second montage of explaining like 10,000 years of the Atlanteans,
my
and stuff,
God,
and they're like, some of us progressed,
yeah.
Some of us devolved or something. I'm like, no.
Yeah. This is
no.
not how
the crab
evolution
people
works.
were not. Yeah, no. The crab people. You're telling me that humans devolved into the crab people.
Yeah. Like
you've lost me, sir.
Well, like, yeah, that's the other thing. Like that was a great example of like, you know, I was not I guess I was not looking away from the screen a lot. I was zoning out a lot because I kept on like just thinking to myself how ridiculous it is. But like I looked down, I looked up. Oh, hey, we have like walking robots out of Star Wars now. I look down, I look up. Oh, like, now we have dinosaurs. Yeah, like it's they were like clearly like we need to throw all the crazy shit into the mix, and I just wish they like there was a character that was like, you know what, it doesn't matter, just we have robots, we have dinosaurs, just accept it. Like all the exposition was almost unnecessary because it just so clearly.
I was like, how did you get here, Mom? Oh, that magic portal? Oh, yeah. No, I can't get back because the magic trident is the only way that... How the hell do you know, man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just...
Ugh.
You know... Oh, we, the land of the lost, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're end up, you know what I mean?
It should have opened with a theme song to explain all of this, like 70s cartoon style or whatever, because that would have been like less ridiculous, I think.
And I was just like, why are we doing this where we all aren't sure if Nicole Kidman is still alive?
I was like...
Just get to it.
Well,
we know she's not dead.
Yeah, exactly. But well, that was actually a pleasant surprise for me because I think I remembered like when I heard about the casting years ago. Like I remember them mentioning she was in it, but I totally forgot she was in the movie. So her showing up in that opening scene for me was like, oh hey, that's cool. She's a de-aged Nicole Kidman's in the movie for 5 minutes or whatever.
And that might be just straight up Nicole Kidman. She's a witch.
She gorgeous. She's gorgeous, but they definitely...
She might be 70 years old for all I know, and she doesn't look a day over 23.
Look, I mean, she looks very good, but I almost guarantee it. Like, they probably didn't have to do much work to de-age her, but they're...
Is it that motion smoothing that they're all talking about?
Yeah, I think that it's that Tom Cruise stuff that, you know, that digital layer of Vaseline on the digital lens.
Are we getting to the bottom of a conspiracy here?
Oh my god.
With the Tom Cruise Kidman connections?
Oh, you know what's sad? I've forgotten at this point that they were ever an item. You know, I heard a rumor that Tom Cruise was considering... becoming Green Lantern or trying to try out for it.
Right.
So, we could get a Nick Tom reunion. I don't know. I guess they never had a nickname, but yeah, we could get them back in one picture.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I would just want them shooting dagger, like reciting dialogue, but just like clearly like giving each other daggers. Like,
right. How are they going to slip that in? You know what I mean? No, they'll have to like digitally put them in like where The Rock hates Vin Diesel or something, so they shoot their scenes separately.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's deeper than The Rock's bullshit hate for Vin Diesel or whatever it is, vice versa. This is about Scientology and children and Catholicism and religion and all that craziness. Right. So, and then, you know what I mean? But,
Anyway.
We'll let's talk about that octopus a little bit more. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's really... octopi and crab people.
I thought one thing was fun was seeing Lee Winnell was kind of the pilot. It was killing me. I couldn't figure it out of who was the airline pilot, not airline, the little.
Airline pilot. I'm not even.
Where they're in the airplane.
Oh, so the guy from Saw was the
guy from Saw, right? Was the pilot. You see,
interesting. I totally didn't catch that.
All comes back to Saw.
All comes back to. I mean, that makes sense. Like that's kind of nice. I like that him and James Wan are still tight, and Lee Winnell did that Upgrade movie that was like kind of decent. So it's cool that he's still getting work, and he's even being a filmmaker now. And
shit. He's getting work as he got a solid 90-second little
he probably got
there,
a nice like 7 figures from that or something like that.
Oh my god! Oh jeez! No way. I was glad to see how that scene turned out because it's been in every trailer of them just jumping out of the plane, and I went, I was like, can Aquaman fly? Like, can they? I couldn't.
Oh, sorry.
I was like, I didn't. I was like, I don't. How does? What happens when they hit the ground?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm glad that they kind of showed that. No, exactly kind of what you think, where they just slam into the ground.
Right. Well, I kind of wondered, I felt like they didn't linger too long on them in Freefall, because I was thinking as I was watching it, I was like, I bet you the Freefall looks pretty similar to the underwater scenes, because it's all just them on wires in front of a green screen. Like, that is like 95% of this movie. So,
I think that's why you had to go get the Willem Dafoes and the Kidmans and stuff.
Yeah, you really need to hire the top talent to sell, Fish Lord of the Rings.
Just an absolute laser focus, though.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Of just, here's your insane script, Willem Dafoe. Let's get it.
Yeah, it's like I just kept on picturing like William Dafoe or someone being like, wait, so
now you've just witnessed him stab a fish king, okay?
Yeah, and like somebody's like holding the tennis ball out in front of him and everything. But so all that being said, like same thing. The thing that kind of counterbalanced that is like people clearly put a lot of thought and imagination into designing this bullshit fish world that is actually like some of the city stuff, even though like I'm sure it's going to get compared to like I don't know, like episode 1 or something like that. But like,
what do you mean city? What city stuff?
Like just like the underwater kingdom and just
I was getting some Clone War vibes.
Yeah, but
all the police chase.
Yeah,
in the fish car.
But but it was still pretty good. Like I like the way certain things were designed. I really liked those suits that they had when they came out of the water. I was kind of wondering as I was watching it if James Cameron went to go watch it, because isn't the next Avatar supposed to be all water based and him being like son of a bitch, and it didn't take him a decade to fucking.
They're years ahead of me.
Yeah.
Or he's just like, this looks like
garbage,
dog shit, and I'm gonna murder this in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. For all the talk, because everyone said, "Oh, the special effects are incredible in this. It's an insane thing." And then, when the Oscar categories and the nominees and stuff kind of came out for some of those effects ones, not the big show, you know what I mean, but kind of some of the effects driven awards.
Yeah.
And Aquaman got left out. They kind of got snubbed. People are like, for shame.
Wait. So it was nominated. It was in the running for this year's Oscars. And
No.
Snubbed?
No. So the different categories of not part of the main Oscars, I don't believe, but they were kind of rumbled out there. It's different from the big nominees that get put out.
Okay.
But Aquaman didn't. It got the old snubberoo. So and people were all up in arms, and jimmies were rustled that they didn't kind of get included. And then when I watch it, I go, yeah, this looks like Avatar to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm watching whales, and shark monsters running around. You know what I mean? Like nothing. I wasn't like, oh, I can't tell. Is that real? What am I?
Right. Well, no, I think it was less the effects for me and more the design or whatever. Like, well, actually, it wasn't even that. Like, I will hand it to James Wan. Like, he has so many shots that are just like way like super duper wide shots under the sea, where you see like thousands of characters on the screen at the same. Like, that one shot that's in the trailer with the fucking trench people following Aquaman with the flare and everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's visually, that's like great. You know what I mean? Like, and like, I think he juices that a lot to get wow moments to like overcome the stupid factor a little bit. Like,
yeah.
Like it's not just that like, oh hey, there's like fish and seahorse people on screen. It's just there's like a million of them on screen at the same time, and they're all doing different things, and it's all coming at you really, really fast. Like the movie keeps throwing so much shit at you. I think that's part of the intent, is to just keep on throwing visuals and information at you, because if it slows down, you'll realize how stupid everything is. But right. That's the thing, is like, I say all this, but I'm not gonna want a grounded, serious take on Aquaman. It's an innately like ridiculous concept. So, like, I felt like they being able to pull off a movie that isn't like works at all is an achievement in itself. I say that like not probably. I'm not like even like saying that the movie is like that fantastic or whatever, but I give them kudos for they set out a goal and they kind of accomplished it. Like, this movie is going to make a bunch of money and everything, so you got to please the masses and everything. But it wasn't totally my cup of tea, I got to say.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's it's good. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't take itself too seriously. So it's, I guess a fine entry into the pantheon of just absolute crap movies that we are forced to go watch that somehow make $1 billion goddamn dollars. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But, we've talked a little to nothing about the plot. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
It really doesn't. You know what I mean? So I think the only thing it matters was setting up the sequel, the inevitable sequel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where an underdeveloped semi-villain is probably, going to be set up. And I want to try to understand. He's a pirate.
Are we talking about Black Manta?
Black Manta.
Yeah.
Now, he's some sort of...
well,
I'm just...
It's like, that's the thing, is like right from the get-go, the whole thing with him and his dad, I guess I got why they were stealing the sub eventually, because it was him and what's his name, fucking Ocean Master.
The Operation Paperclip style stuff, you know what I mean? Dive back into the conspiracies.
Right. Like, but there was so much exposition so fast that, like, that's when I didn't totally get their motivation and what was going on from the get-go. That's like when it started to clue in for me, like, I shouldn't try thinking too hard. It's not going to be worth it. But, and I also felt like there was, like, so many moments of them trying to, like, okay, we're going to make sure that we look exactly like the comics because that's what, the fanboys want, but we also have to, like, jump through hoops to quote unquote logically explain why all these things look super ridiculous. So you have that whole montage out of nowhere where Black Manta's like fixing the helmet and making it, and like you made sure to get that little piece of dialogue from his dad, so he has the Manta name and everything like that, and then he tries to make it a regular size helmet, but it's too big, so that's why he's got such a weird looking helmet and everything.
Right. No, I love how he's like, yeah, I know you guys are basically space age alien people, but and I love what you did here, but let me just disassemble this shit and you got all this goo, and let me see what I can whip up on my desert island alone.
Well, that's the thing, is like in most, I feel like that's like a standard thing in movies or comic books. Like, if you're a scientist, it doesn't matter what type of scientist you are, you're automatically good at like creating alien tech, or if you're like, I can fidget. But this guy wasn't even a scientist; he was like a mercenary or something. So, but I guess
he's a pirate.
Well, it just goes to show you, if you just got the gumption, you too can disassemble an alien tech and make it a Halloween costume or something.
Yeah, it's a little, it's a little trial and error. You know what I mean? And he, a few people almost died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he melted the inside of his ship, but
Well,
it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Was it just me? I felt like when he went into full Black Manta mode, and there was that admittedly pretty cool action scene on top of the roof. Like, it seemed almost like, I know his voice was deeper.
I'm glad you said that.
Well, like, did it seem to me like the way the actor was like, it seemed like he was like suddenly not the mercenary guy anymore. Like, he was like an alien.
Well, did you forget who you are, sir?
Yeah, like,
did you forget you're a human being?
Yeah.
And he knows who you are.
Right.
It's not hidden. This is not a secret identity.
Yeah.
Where you're like RoboCop all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, that's such a weird choice. It totally kind of ruined it for me.
Well, and I kind of was like, I was almost like, did they shoot the Black Manta stuff first and then like figure out his story behind
horrible.
it?
Like, just redub it or something.
Yeah.
Like, he's a goddamn man in a suit.
Yeah, and
I didn't understand that choice at all.
Yeah, like I can kind of get, like, I could see him like purposely trying to be intimidating, but he seems like he's like not of this world or something like that, or whatever. Like,
it's like Zhang or the freaking Martian Manhunter or something all of a sudden or something. Like, but who are you? What are you doing?
But that's a good, like, microcosm of the movie. I feel like it's like it tries a little, probably more than a little too hard to do, like, everything it tries a little too hard, and so it accomplishes it, I guess, but it kind of overshoots it for me too. So it's this weird mixed bag. Like I definitely, I felt like I liked it more than Justice League because it had like a. I will say this: that the movie has a very clear direction. It's a movie that kind of has a vision, even if the vision is just like overstuffed with all sorts of crazy shit. Like, there are like crazy ideas in it that people put thought into and everything. It's not. I want to know when they decided he was going to ride the kaiju monster into battle. Yeah, was that part of it or not? Because that seemed kind of.
Why does he have dominion over the kaiju monster? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I like how it, like the kaiju monster is just like
played by Mary goddamn Poppins, by the way.
Is it real? Oh my! Oh,
yeah,
I was gonna say
Julie Andrews is the voice of the kaiju monster.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine what an IMDb she's got rocking?
Dude, she probably. I wonder if she even knew what movie.
I don't want to, yeah.
Oh, like
name Julie Andrews.
Well, I just wonder if, like, somebody just handed her a check and a microphone and was like, with so many of these actors.
Mom.
Yes. Here's a check for $5 million. Will you just say this paragraph and we'll do the rest? And
yeah, don't bother yourself.
Like she didn't even know that she was going to be a giant monster or something like that.
So, I always wanted to do a superhero movie.
Oh my god, that's But I mean, yeah, man. But I mean, like, I guess, sure, why not giant kaiju monster? It was something,
Nothing beats that.
I was like, I kind of like that. That's my thing. Like, I don't know. I made sure to get really stoned to see this movie, and I feel like that's the only proper way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And I hope you had alcoholic milkshakes and enjoyed yourself at the Alamo Drafthouse.
Yeah, like that is like
sponsor us.
The main way to intake the movie.
It's the only way.
But okay, it's, as a counterpoint though, that's the thing is, like, you can have like ridiculous like I saw the Spider-Man movie last week, and it's funny because that movie also throws a ton of mythology at you and like a whole bunch of crazy shit, and it's also probably a good movie to like get drunk and go see or something. But I like that. I think is like one of my best movies of the year, just because it balances so many things so well. So I feel like you can go crazy. You can have ridiculous stuff in it without it being like I feel like I'll remember the Spider-Man movie, if that makes any sense. Like this, I'm going to like probably.
I saw it 2 days ago and I'm struggling to remember it.
Oh really? Oh, okay.
Well, my memory isn't not what it used to be.
Well, especially when you're packing in all these end of year movies. But
oh my god. Yeah.
But like I don't know. It might have been helped by the fact that it was animated and had such a cool style. But like I feel. I also it might just be superhero fatigue too. I might be starting to get kind of burnt out. I feel like I'm getting old.
It's like what they warned you against in the 90s about pills and E and stuff. It's like, hey man,
your receptors aren't the same. Your serotonin.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel.
Point.
I'm so beaten down at this point. You know what I mean? Just late December, just cramming all this crap. You know what I mean? Just jumping from one thing to you're going from The Favorite to Spider-Man, back down to something. You know what I mean? It's
that's
like
got to be like Whiplash though too.
Oh yeah, you know what I mean. But, just to tease our, upcoming end of year, mandatory, obligatory, kind of, we're going to do a little episode about our favorite films of the year, talking about some likely picks, maybe someone sneak in that you wouldn't suspect. You know what I mean? So, I've seen quite a few. Mr. Volpe's seen quite a few. Some weird, some a little bit more mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
But just to set up that tease,
Yeah.
as we kind of mentioned, Spider-Man, will it make my list or will it not?
You'll have to see to find
Yeah,
out.
tune in, you know what I mean? Yeah, we don't know.
What about the crab people? Where do they rank on your list?
Crab people are number one in my hearts and number one in my 7 goddamn species of people, and then the random dead people.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget the dead ones that are dead.
The dead ones that are dead.
Yeah, the deserters, the deserts, the desert people.
Oh God, dude, I don't even remember. It's all blends together. It's like, once again, it's not necessarily like, this isn't necessarily a diss, but it's all bullshit. It's all just like the entire movie is MacGuffin. Everything is
Let's just stay on topic. Let's stay focused.
Okay.
Do you think the Crab King died? Because he technically was kind of off screen when they threw the trident into him, right?
Yeah, well, we don't know the extent of the crab powers.
And his injuries, if he's regenerative.
Yeah,
because if a crab loses a leg, I believe they can grow it back.
Right, and you don't know how hard that exoskeleton is. So
it's probably brutally hard. He was wearing it into goddamn battle.
I mean, clearly we're gonna have to wait for the prequel trilogy just on the Brine people. And I'm excited. I don't know about you. I feel like
if they make a Crab King action figure, he'll sit proudly on my shelf.
You can have Baskin Robbins do a tie-in with crab cakes, and it'll be great, man. We'll make millions.
Mm-hmm.
Get on this. You hear this, WB?
That's my big takeaway. Yeah. More crab people. The weird piranha, whatever, the dangler people. They're fine.
Yeah.
But they're just alien creatures. They're just... they're nonsense people. They're just like monsters. Give me more crab people. He speaks English.
He speaks it quite well, of course.
Yeah, of course. So that's my big takeaway. More crab people.
Yeah.
It applies to almost any film.
Hot take, man. I think any movie can be spiced up. Do you think... I don't know what your take on, like, say, The Favorite was, but do you think that movie could have benefited from some crab people?
There was a lot of royalty, a lot of mumbo jumbo,
right?
A lot of pageantry, a lot of bullshit. Give me a Crab King in there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, royalty.
The crazy Queen Anne. Give me the crazy king. What was his name? Did we even get a name? Or he's just the Brine King? Did they even give him a name?
I mean, maybe his name is unpronounceable to your human ears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just a series of clicks and whistles or something. I want to know everything. I just,
Well,
maybe I'll dive back into the comics. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to start making your own fan fiction. You know what I mean?
No, I just, they deserve better than deserve better than what they got.
Get on that crab people / fiction, man. Come on, the internet's waiting.
The thought where they're trying to sell you that they're all descendants
of the same
one thing.
Yeah,
the crab people. And he's such a badass. He was like, hell no, you can take my army. You're never going to take my pride, dog. You're never going to get me down. I'm never going to join you. You got to do what you got to do.
I wish...
Fork me? Go ahead.
Oh, man. I
love that he was forked. He was literally forked.
Yeah, well...
You know what I mean?
I was
put a little butter on him.
I wished, as you were saying that, I was like thinking, I wish they just did a hard cut from... the Crab King saying that to, like, Patrick Wilson, like, eating a giant, like, crab dinner at his dinner table or something. Like, oh, this army is delicious.
I mean, I guess that goes without saying that they eat nothing but seafood, right?
Yeah, I mean, what...
But were the animals kind of their slaves,
yeah,
too?
Okay,
it was a weird thing. Dude.
That opens up, like, a whole new can of worms or can of eels or whatever. Because, yeah, that's kind of like a...
Are they our friends, or are they, pulling they look like they were drawing, your truckloads of commerce and shit, and you're riding on sea turtles and nonsense.
Right.
Are these free autonomous creatures, or are they being used in your society where you obviously don't need sea creatures to get around for travel?
Yeah.
You have fish cars.
Yeah, I guess they're all just...
It's Deep Space 2019 or whatever. It's, or Sequest down there.
What is the fish car, like, when you can, like, bolt through the sea at 1,000,000 miles an hour? Like, what is the point of the Blade Runner fish car?
I guess,
except to look cool.
The socioeconomic, demands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The third world crowd is still having to deal with, the creatures.
Yeah, like, there's so many, and same thing, like, props to James Wan for being able to figure out some sort of logic, even if it doesn't add up. Like, moment to moment, if you don't think too hard, you kind of accept it. But, like, when they're having that Colosseum battle, and it's like, sometimes it's like you're swimming, and, like, you're doing that thing where you're rocketing at your opponent, like, like Dragon Ball style at 1,000,000 miles an hour. But sometimes it's like we're doing kung fu just underwater and fast and everything.
I love how Willem Dafoe is like, Jason, Aquaman, he's like, yeah, whatever, we'll fight, and he's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You've never fought underwater. Like, he's spent his entire life learning how to fight people underwater, dude. And he's like, well, let's get it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Thanks for the training, dog. You know what I mean?
Was it just me, or did it feel like every line William Dafoe was saying was like somebody doing a parody of a William Dafoe character? Like, I felt like he was, like, brought in to say, sorry, I keep on going back to the same point, but, like, brought in to say, like, he's the teacher explainer, like, Willem Dafoe is pretty good at that. Let's just, like, get him in here to do that. Like,
yeah, he's a mentor.
Yeah,
he's
you know what I mean? He's a pretty good mentor.
I already know how to swim. Oh no.
No, you don't.
Oh, not like this, you idiot.
Yeah, like,
you dumb idiot.
He was like I'm trying to go think back to Lion King. Who was the monkey guy in Lion King?
Oh man,
the dude with the staff.
Really...
Dude, it's like so.
I know who you're talking about.
You know,
it's a story as old as time. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
But oh, Zazu is the parrot.
No.
But he was more of the vizier role.
I guess so. I don't know.
Because the old wise man is just a crazy old hermit.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You know what I mean? He's kind of banished.
I don't know.
Out, and Zazu is kind of kept in, just like Volko. You know what I mean?
Dude.
So he's kind of playing both sides of the coin. You know what I mean?
This movie's giving me a headache.
All right. Well, I think that's as. I just want to finish with I thought my favorite part of the film is when Amber Heard steals a family's only way to make a living, and bankrupts a family for sure, destroys their way of life, and Jason Momoa goes. She goes, oh, are these not just like free? I can't just steal people's shit. And he goes, oh no. Oh, you.
Oh,
you. But, what are you going to do? I mean, she doesn't know what she's... Did you steal this? Did you steal the boat?
You mean you don't have... Your naive society has not developed public boat?
I hope she's joking. You can't quite tell if she's joking or not, but if she's not joking, and she knowingly just ruined... a family of Greek people. Were they in Greece? Where were they?
I think they were. Well, it looked like.
Were they
Greece,
in some made up place?
They said Scuze, so I assume that's wrong.
But were they doing that thing? DC doesn't do that with fake places, right? Like Marvel does, where they make up countries.
Well, DC makes up cities. You know what I mean? Like,
do they? Well, yeah,
Gotham and Metropolis.
Well, listen.
But no.
No, wait. Did I flip flop that in my mind?
Well, no.
Yeah, is it Marvel that? Yeah, they have New York, and then there's Gotham, and there's Metropolis and all that.
They both have their bullshit. Like I was laughing when they, especially since it was like 3/4 of the way through the movie, they suddenly and now we have dinosaurs, the land that time forgot. Marvel has an equivalent to that called the Savage Land, right?
Right.
So this, I'm sure at some point DC had the same equivalent, but it's just sure, why not throw this in a blender too? And same thing. It was cool. I guess I give him props for being just that over the top with it. But when you're introducing dinosaurs in your movie, well into the third act or something, it's like you probably have too much shit going on in your movie.
Yeah, Well, crab people, dinosaurs, fish people.
Yeah.
It had a little bit of everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except great storytelling. But, that's neither here nor there.
Well, look.
Anything else? You got any closing thoughts? Any gripes? Go through my.
Not really.
Let's quickly talk about, just because I just want to know if a man is going to lose his hand.
Oh, I can see him pulling that. That's like something you pull out on the second movie. That's
what I'm saying. You got it. Now, do you think he'll have the water hand, or is he gonna have that fish hand, or kind of the spear hand?
I feel like it's the spear hand, or like they'll pull a Army of Darkness, give him a spear hand at first, and then he'll get like a basically regular hand, but
because did he have a harpoon hand at one point?
Yeah, the harpoon hand is the one I remember. You said he has a water hand now.
There's been different iterations where he has a water hand.
Oh, okay.
But to me, you got to go harpoon or hook.
Yeah, I feel like harpoon, or he'll lose the hand, and whenever the big battle scene comes at the end, he'll have a hook by then or whatever.
I'm calling it. He loses it first. Maybe the second act, maybe first act of the sequel.
End of the first act. It's like Rocky rules, like
he's got to lose the first one, right?
Yeah, and then so he has like something to come back from.
Speaking of Rocky, my man, talking to the expert here.
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, yeah, if you haven't, take a bizarre journey into the morose just world of Rocky Balboa movies, you know what I mean, and take a journey with Mr. Volpe. I'll link to it in the comments or in below the video. But Mr. Volpe had never seen a Rocky film, and I convinced him to sit in one weekend basically to just binge the entire series and film himself reacting to the whole thing. So there's a super cut of that on our channel. So please do yourself a favor. My God, it is magic. The first half, when you're still kind of not absolutely miserable, is good, and then it just shifts to where you're just absolutely done.
Once you hit Rocky 4, and I start drinking, that's when it gets good. I think it's a hell of a journey. It's kind of like the Stanford prison experiment. Like you just to watch someone slowly go insane. It's that kind of fun. So
yeah. So I'll link to that as well. But that'll do it for us, you guys. We really enjoyed this film.
Yeah.
It was really good. It's for sure gonna make my top 10. Right up there with The Favorite. You know what I mean? In terms of just incredible filmmaking.
Wow, do I detect a little sarcasm?
No, I haven't seen Bumblebee yet, so we'll see if Bumblebee maybe pushes it out. It's a tough year. Some say it's a down year in film, but I not with hitters like this coming out. Right at the end. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be fighting tooth and claw, at the end to see who can make this top 10.
Don't you mean Tooth and Fin or whatever?
Ooh.
You see what I did there? You see what I did
man,
there?
because he got the tooth. You know what I mean?
Let me just tell you, if you like sea-based puns,
you like fish puns.
Yeah. This movie is
God. We have fun.
Yeah.
So that'll do it for us, guys. Really enjoyed it, as I said. Can't wait to see it again. On HBO in 2020.
Yes.
We'll dive right back into it again.
See, you just did it. You dive right back in.
Oh, there you go. I didn't even mean to do that one.
You can't resist.
Jesus, can't stop myself. Yeah. No, it's sunk its hooks into me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This movie really made a splash.
Yeah, it harpooned me, bro.
Yeah.
So that's it. We gotta stop talking about this movie. But tune in next time, guys. We're gonna talk about our top 10 favorite films. Not necessarily the best films. Who am I to say? I can only say what we enjoyed the most.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that I'm not gonna get up here on a soapbox and tell you Bumblebee is better than The Favorite.
Is this what you're hinting at?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But listen, Nicole Kidman in Destroyer or Haley Steinfeld in Bumblebee. Who knows?
You never know. Hey, man.
You never know.
I bet you Nicole Kidman gives the same gravitas and seriousness that she brought to this film as this other indie movie where she's in old people makeup.
Yeah,
So
she transformed herself. You know what I mean? In both
she just
times.
monstered herself right up.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So who's to say? Yeah. We'll get into it. We'll kind of dive into our favorite. Keep an eye out for some articles from Nick and I. We're going to do a top 10 TV shows that we enjoyed this year. We're going to do a top 10 films. We're going to do kind of a written version where he's going to have his top 10. I'll have my top 10 of both film and TV shows. Mr. Andrew Volpe, getting him to write sentences down on some sort of digital copy. That's just, who's got time for that? Ain't nobody got time for that. So, we're going to just discuss our favorite films in the written word. You know what I mean? Or in the spoken word.
Yeah. That one.
There you go. All right. So thank you guys so much for listening. We always appreciate it. Please share. Please link, subscribe, enjoy, share with friends. Troll your friends. Send it on to your loved ones. You know what I mean? Two absolute crazy people talking about an insane film. So
yeah.
Hope you enjoyed it. Find us on Twitter at Disorderly Media. Find us on Facebook at Disorderly ENT. And with that, check us out at thedisorderly.com for all the best news, videos, tweets, podcasts, you name it. We got everything. But thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time. See you soon.
Take it easy, guys.